Procrastination. It's messy all along the way. We don't get started on what we know we should get done. We delay the process of getting something done. We don't really get what we should get done, or we don't get it on time. And so we suffer the consequences of that. There's a weird conflict that goes on between what we know we should get done and what we end up doing. And there's a distinct pain there. The pain of not getting what we should get done, or not getting it done on time. This happens because of a push-pull kind of mechanism in us, a pleasure versus pain mechanism in us. We avoid the discomfort of doing what it takes to get something done, and that conflicts with the pleasure of the satisfaction we get from getting something done. Or it could be in the opposite fashion. We're postponing something because we're getting the temporary satisfaction of being temporarily stress-free, where the illusion is that that looming project isn't there, when in fact we just remove a little bit of pressure in the moment when we postpone something, but it gets worse because these things pile up on the things we actually need to do. So either way you play it, it's a pain or pleasure thing. So this thing called procrastination happens when the pleasure of not doing, or the pleasure of postponement, exceeds the pleasure we'd get from getting it done and getting it done on time. It's the pleasure of momentary postponement versus the looming pain of the discomfort of having to do the process of getting something done. And with both of them leveraged against you, you get the temporary satisfaction of, I don't have to do it yet. And then you add the how big the task looks. And what happens is that both pleasure and pain are leveraged against you. And that's what magnifies this thing called procrastination. Imagine, it's pleasurable to not do it, and it's painful to do it. Of course, you don't do it. So this is the very thing we have to find a way to overcome. To really understand this thing called procrastination, however, we have to look at the thing we commonly blame, which is we blame our lack of motivation. I don't do it, my good friend says, I haven't done it because I haven't felt motivated. I haven't found the drive. I haven't found the inspiration. I didn't feel like it. I don't feel like it yet. And that's the common, easy thing to blame. We point at and poke at our supposed lack of motivation, and it's that thing's fault, our lack of motivation. How do you weigh that though? Like, how much motivation do you need in order to overcome your procrastination? How much impetus, how much movement, how much momentum do you need to overcome your inertia? How much movement does it actually require for you to overcome your standing still? Huh? If you look really deeply at the psychology and neuroscience of this thing called motivation though, you'll find out that most of the stuff being sold to us as motivation is actually marketing. Because as a species, we are truly internally strongly motivated when it's something that's really important to us. We don't need motivation. Motivation is something we actually have. It's not something that we need. We're told it's something we need. No. Motivation is something we actually have, that we've lost because of, well, unlike older times, survival is easier now. These aren't caveman and Jurassic days where there aren't dinosaurs out to kill you, and we don't have to hunt really, and guns aren't pointed at our heads usually. It's not every day and not everywhere that we're going to die or our loved ones are going to die if we don't do something. You see, if those things happen, we find out we have motivation. So that shatters that motivation myth. That's bull. That's crap. motivation, the way it's pandered nowadays, is we need motivation, but that's not true. We are internally motivated. Motivation is something we have. And why the marketing worked on us, why we believe it when we're told we need motivation, is because we don't have that drive anymore. And the reward loop has been messed up. Because look left and right of you, we are, well, if this was caveman time, you needed to eat, you hunt. And if you hunt, you're rewarded, you have food. That makes sense. So that reward loop is there. Hungry, therefore hunt, therefore eat, therefore satiated or satisfied or no longer hungry. That makes sense. Nowadays, however, we get the same neurochemical hit, we get the same dopamine hit, we get that same loop of trigger, routine, reward with funny things like Facebook, which have nothing to do with survival, even though it looks urgent. And that's the point, really. It's something that looks urgent, but it's not really important. And we mix the two up. And so because we've forgotten what that is, we believe the lie taught by marketers that we need motivation. So we're sold like, you need motivation, you need to take motivation every day, like a bath. You need a bath every day. No. If you don't know what you're for, if you don't know your purpose, if you don't have a great, compelling, positive why, if you haven't made a choice for yourself of how to live your life, anybody can hijack you, anybody can sell you shit. If you don't know what you're for, you can believe other people's choices for you. And that includes this motivation shit. But it's not true. You are internally motivated. You are automatically motivated. You have motivation, except when you don't. Okay? And what's usually pandered nowadays is, I don't even know what to call it, but people call it motivation. It's actually small, stupid reasons. You need small, stupid reasons every day to push you. You need small, stupid, negative reasons every day to push you to do stuff you don't feel like doing, because you're not naturally compelled to do those things. You don't have an impulse towards it, so you have to be sold on buying it, of course. If you haven't had your basic needs sorted, food, clothing, shelter, relationship needs, if you haven't gotten those things sorted, you're internally motivated. You're definitely motivated. Unless your dopamine system, unless your neurochemical hits have been so messed up. But even then, if you need to survive, there's your motivation. It's the reverse, however, in modern society, where for the most part our motivational needs are lost because our basic needs are taken care of. So you have the 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old man-child who still lives with his parents or grandparents, not because he's taking care of them, but because he's mooching off them, he's living off them, he's not even contributing to them. And in a lot of societies, I see it where grandchildren are living off their grandparents who are struggling to keep them alive. And that's kind of messed up. But in that situation where there's no compulsion and the drive isn't there, the honor and the sense of family isn't even there, those drivers aren't even there, they don't even kick in well, and our natural drives are overridden and overwritten by social media shit. We find no reason to pursue something automatically. We've lost that impulse. We've lost that natural motivation. That's what happens nowadays. So there's that weird thing going on where we're compelled, we're motivated by something that looks near and deadly. And of course, that's a negative motivation. It's an away from motivation. We're trying to not die. But we aren't as motivated, even though our basic needs are taken care of, we aren't that motivated to pursue nobler, higher, more long-term goals. And that's what causes a lot of the procrastination that happens. The drive's been lost. I mean, look at it. Look at the funniness of it. Look at the hilarity of it. We live in a society where people would rather build things in the internet, in dreamscapes, in virtual reality, and buy things in the internet rather than build and create things in real life. That's messed up. And that's part of why things are messed up nowadays. We get dopamine hits for the wrong things. We get rewarded for the things which aren't useful for us, the things which aren't important, things which don't contribute to our survival and our longer term well-being and the benefit of those around us and those we love. The reverse of that, that's the thing though. How we've gotten to where we are right now is some people have taken leadership roles within themselves and within society and have seen to it that we pursue things beyond just the basic needs of now. They took the time and the space and the energy and the awareness to create things which led to developing a better society. How we got to now is people had the intent, the resolve, the awareness, the action, the foresight, and the doing and carrying it out to create something in the world, even though and because basic needs were already taken care of. That's how to move forward. To get that, you need not have to die to be able to choose something greater for yourself. Now, if you're bothering to even watch this tells me that you want something better for yourself and for your loved ones. You want a tomorrow for yourself and your loved ones, and for possibly society at large that isn't like your today. You see how things are, and you know they can get better, and you know they can get better with your intent and your action. And if that's you, well, get in conversation with us. We'd like to help you move forward on that, to help you achieve your goals. And even if you don't seek us out yet, look at what's important to you and do what it takes so that you wake up in a tomorrow, 3 years, 5 years from now, that's much better than today. Okay?